if you couldn't remember your real name, your first kiss, or your last goodbye?
I don't remember.
All your memories.
Name's Charlie. I'm coming back.
Came flooding back to you.
Evening, Charlie. Long time.
One bullet at a time.
I got movement on Samantha Kane.
Good.
I may have a lead on someone. They still have some of her stuff.
This man, he's gonna help me find some things out, so we'll be safe.
Your full name is Charlene Elizabeth Baltimore.
Charlie Baltimore's alive, sir.
Who are you?
Name's Charlie. The spy.
A long, long time ago on a podcast far, far away. Let's start the show. You know, I do give Chris a hard time. He does a lot. I think he, coordinates or whatever he does with 50 other shows. Not this show, but 50 other shows. But tonight he's on this show, and he said he would help out. So I guess I can cut him some slack because he's busy with other shows and not this one. Anyway, tonight, A Long Kiss Goodnight. I know we promised it 2 weeks ago, but things happen. People get kidnapped, whatever. Anyway, I'm not here alone. Who am I also here with? Here we are, the next doctor. Sir, how are we doing?
I am excellent. I'm definitely ready to dive into this one. Definitely interesting watch.
Yes, and I'm very curious what you think of it. We touched base a little bit last time we were going to do the show, but we didn't really say too much about our final grades and thoughts about this movie. Last but not least, a person who takes their time. So I'll take my time and talk to you some more, Rashad. Now tell me, how you been? Oh, okay, let me bring him in here. Here we go. The executive consultant. Sir, how you doing?
I was expecting when you were like, hey, you're going to be quick on the draw? Like, yeah, of course, I got you. So when you were doing your little soliloquy at the beginning, I thought you were going to do one of your James soliloquies. So I decided to go, make myself some noodles. Instead, you say one line and then start the show. I'm like, shit. Okay. So don't blame me. As far as the 50, yes, I'm a busy man. I do a lot of shows, right? But I'm here, Federation Tuesdays, myself, next doctor, and last but not least, because I got to be quick on the draw, Mitch is here. Good job, Mitch. What's up?
That's right. I'm so glad that we could all be here finally. We've been waiting a long, long time. I mean, we haven't seen each other since Singing in the Rain. That seems like 60 years ago. Listen, synopsis, Long Kiss Goodnight. I think it was 1996. Gina Davis, Samuel L. Jackson, and amnesiac slowly regains her memory as well as her past. I think that's pretty much sums it up in a pretty good description of what this movie is about, because it's not just her memory, but it's her past and all that entails. I picked this movie. I am biased. Of course, I like this movie, but why? But I'll let somebody else go first. Who would like to take it, gentlemen?
I will jump in here. So I never saw this movie when it first came out in 96. I mean, this was high school. I don't really know why I didn't see this movie, because I've always been a fan of Gina Davis. Everything that I've seen her in, I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff, but I've seen her in a lot, quite a few movies. And every time I've seen her, I've liked her. So I don't know why I never really saw this movie. So I am definitely glad that I did see it this time, though, because this was darn good. Like, she really should have been an action hero. The comedy, the action, it was, a bit over the top. The stories are, a bit convoluted, but for the 90s, that was, kind of the thing. And I can see this having been, sparking a career of action movies, starring her. Like, I don't know why it really didn't, because it definitely had everything in it that, you think of when you're thinking about a blockbuster. You got the names, and there's the young Samuel L., but still, you got him The chemistry between those two on screen was fantastic. She did her transformation, was spectacular. The one-liners that he was throwing out there, the back and forth between the two, it definitely drove this movie. And I think that, she could have done another movie with him or, someone else as her co-star and kept that train going.
Chris couldn't be with us tonight, but he sends his regards. Let me jump in here. Rashad, I think you're spot on. You got close to disrespectful when you were like convoluted, but then you pulled it back because you said it was the 90s, and that's exactly right. I can't argue with that truth. It's over the top. Die Hard with a Vengeance. I mean, it's so over the top,
yes,
but couched within the reality and the suspension of disbelief in these films. That's what's apropos, right? Total Recall is not over the top because that's Total Recall, right? You know what I mean? So it's so true for the era in which it was, and it's true because you could see Charlize Theron doing this role today had this movie not come out.
Yeah,
she actually did something similar to that a couple years ago. I forget the name of the movie, but you could see that. Oh, Platinum Blonde, is it right? Or Blonde or something like that? I think it was. I can't
remember that one.
But I know she did a movie that was similar to that. Moments. Again, Rashad brought it up. The back and forth. Even before Charlie Baltimore, Gina Davis's character, does her transformation, it's as if her and Mitch Hennessy, which is a great name. It's the blackest name. It's the greatest name. Mitch Hennessy. Okay? It's as if they grew up together and they're the best of friends. He had a rapport with her like he did with his co-worker at his detective agency. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Which another that opening scene with them,
great. Yeah.
What?
He when he says, "I can see from your choice you're not a wealthy man." Like, and she shoots him that look. It's like they've been throwing jabs all day at work, and he said, "I'm gonna get you back for that line." It's great. You know what I mean? But there's a mutual respect. I think one of the best sequences where it's before it's I wouldn't say out of balance, but where you see them really in sync as far as skill level is when they go to the train station and they realize that the guy that they're meeting isn't exactly who Perkins is. And both of them are like shocked by it, but then they get into action mode. And then you start to really see their strengths. When one person like starts to sputter, I'll say, the other one picks up the slack. And then when the other person starts to sputter, the other one picks up the slack. And it's really, really more than other movies actually in this buddy cop genre. You really see that both play equal parts and they play their role. It's okay for them to play their part and not be superseded by the other one. And you see that part, the second half of that, during the rescue scene at the end, where he's not the superhero, quote unquote, in this movie, Samuel Jackson's character, but he has an incredible heroic arc in that scene. But she's a superhero, so she gets the superhero moments. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And yet they both earn it. Loved it. It was great. Chris, what do you want to say? Jump in here.
Yeah, the superhero moments. Samuel Jackson was, bulletproof man. Because for some reason, he should have got killed, 10, 20, 30 times, and he kept remaining alive.
Just let me jump in here. The original ending, he did die. But the test audiences, they were so against it that they reshot that ending.
Instead of reshooting the movies, they should have reshot those test audiences because he should have remained dead if you're going to put him through all that, right? The man had no business being alive. This man lost more blood than a blood bank held up by a robber. It's the best I got. I'm trying to tell you, it made no sense. Her memory loss. Her trying not to remember her child, but then remembering that she has. I know it's a bulk. Look, made no sense. The chemistry was good though. I did like the chemistry. I like the villains. I thought Samuel Jackson played his part very well. That's what he does when he yells. He plays his part very well. So, I have to say that I'm not going to sit here and stab the movie to death like I'm somebody who's trying to kill Samuel Jackson in this movie. Because it won't die. So I'll give you some positive thoughts about this movie, too. The chemistry was good. Samuel L. Jackson played his part, which he plays well when he yells. The villains were pretty good. You know, I'm glad that they chose to have this movie, you know, be violent, and she chose to name Charlie Baltimore. You know, I thought it was very well done. So, yeah, a lot of good things. That's all I got.
Chris, before the show, swore that he watched this movie.
I did watch this movie from beginning to end.
Sure.
I also like the fact that they had my man in it. What's his name? There are no etches out there, Wolverine. What's his name?
You're talking about Brian Cox.
Yeah, it's great. Great. I was waiting for him to bring out the adamantium. But
I mean, he had one of my favorite lines in this movie when the dog was, you know, eating its own butt. And he was like, whatever is there is either gone for good or there to stay.
My point exactly.
He delivered that line expertly. That was fantastic.
He also left his wife in a hurry.
Was that his wife or his mother? Who was that supposed to be? I never understood that.
Well, you know what? That's how old he was.
I mean, whoever it was, she didn't hold a candle. She didn't hold a candle to Gina Davis, so I would have left too.
Yeah, she was not doing any push-ups. She looked like life had been rough, every bit of rough to her. Shout out to that lady because she got paid for this role. Okay, and that scene was funny. I have another line. I don't know if we can say it on YouTube, Chris. Are we allowed to say it on YouTube? I know
PG-13. PG-13.
So how many curse words can I get? I can get one MF.
You can get one F word.
Okay. So at the end of the movie, the climactic battle scene, right? In one of, as Chris will put it, Samuel Jackson's many super-powered moments, okay? He sees Charlie Baltimore's daughter get into, Chris, I know you love this part because the kid, everybody got out safely and the kid goes back into danger next to the bomb, okay? So she locks herself underneath.
What the freak was that?
Yeah, underneath the big rig in the lock case, right? And so Samuel Jackson sees it. He's like, damn, you know, and she's like, Mitch, don't go back there. What are you doing? There's like, 30 guys or whatever. And he's like, she goes, there's like 30 guys. And he goes, shoot them for me, bitch. What are you good for? I got to tell you, the back and forth between the two of them was just hilarious. And that was one of the best lines. Forget Thanos, okay? Forget the beatdown he gave to that punk Hulk, okay? But that line, kill him for me, bitch. What are you good for? Because the whole movie, I'm realizing you're a badass spy. She just rescued him from being in the cellar buck naked, in the cold like a slave in a ship. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they shot that scene, by the way, okay? He was like hog-tied, buck naked with blood on him, okay? So he's seeing all this stuff. He's like, hey, do your superhero stuff and get it. He went out like a champion in the original cut of this movie, okay? But he had a great heroic arc. When they're in the car and they're driving around Atlantic City, and he's like, who are you? It's like, you don't need me anymore. And she's like, good point. And she pushes him out the moving car, goes around the corner. He lays on the ground and just lights up a cigarette, takes a drag, and then gets up slowly, get back in the car when she pulls back around again. I loved it. It was great, okay? It was a great, great movie. But we're not the only thing on this network on Tuesdays. No, as Chris alluded to earlier, there are many, many other shows. Let's find out what's coming up on this commercial break.
We ain't partners, we ain't brothers, and we ain't friends. I'm putting you down and keeping you down until Gans is locked up or dead. And if Gans gets away, you're gonna be sorry you ever met me.
I'm already sorry.
Nick Nolte is a cop. Eddie Murphy is a con.
I can help you get Gans, but you gotta get me out of here first.
You're crazy.
He pulls some strings.
I see how you need me a little more than you thought, huh, Mr. K?
He pulls some scams.
So where do you want to do it, honey? Want to hop up on the counter?
Nah, we can go in this room over here next to the bathroom.
Give me a break.
I'm dead serious.
Come on, we're on the move. Let's go.
48 hours.
Sir, there's no intrusion.
Let's go, move.
We have contact from inside the White House.
Identify yourself.
309er.
Jesus, Banning?
The same guy that was removed from the president's detail?
He is ex-Special Forces.
40 commandos breached the gate. 28 are left. Can we trust him? With all due respect, I'm the best hope you've got.
Olympus is falling. Olympus is falling.
Mike Knox, the rapper Charlie Baltimore took a name from this film. That's absolutely correct. It's a classic movie talking about 1996, I believe, along with Goodnight, Gina Davis, Samuel L. Jackson. I'm here with the executive consultant and the next doctor. I am Mitch Hennessy, the blackest of black, and you are watching UPRE. Coming back, let's give our final thoughts, our thumbs up, thumbs down. If you have any quotes, I know "Killing for Me, Bitch" was mine. Jump in here, please.
Listen, chefs do that. That's another one.
There you go.
Shout out to Gina Davis's biceps. You know, when she was in the torture scene, you know, definitely showing her form there. Definitely appreciated it. You know, this movie, like I said, it was hilarious. It was action packed. I didn't look at the numbers, but I don't know if it was like it did like spectacularly in the theaters, but it obviously didn't spark a run of action movies by Gina Davis, which is really a crime because this was fantastic. And I wish that they would have done more with her in the action scene. But you know, I'm glad that this movie exists. You know, definitely worth a watch, worth a rewatch as well. And it's definitely a thumbs up for me.
Chris, you want to jump in here? Oh, so I'm guessing that's a thumbs up, though.
That's definitely a thumbs up for me.
Hit him, Chris. Hit him. Today. He did all that.
All that.
You can't even hear him. Look at him.
It gets a thumbs up for me. I don't know why somebody was trying to have it ready in case I had a thumbs down.
That was for Rashad, who you never even put up his thumbs up.
But I'm not. He has controls. He can put his own thumbs up on, right? That's what I did, and that's why I gave this movie a thumbs up. Hey, I was entertained. I enjoyed it. Hey, I do believe Mitch should have died. I also believe Gina Davis's character should have died. I believe everybody should have died. I believe that little girl should have died.
I knew you were going to say it.
Yes, I think they all should have died.
Show your clip. Go ahead. I know you want to show your clip.
No, I'm not going to show that clip.
Oh, okay.
I'll say that for yours. But the thing is, it was.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when they pushed that kid or something at the pool party or whatever.
Oh, yes. I forgot all about that. I am showing that clip. Hold on. Where are you at? Where are you at?
I knew that's what you were talking about.
Oh, there it is. So nice. Got to see it twice.
Like a little
Everybody needed to die in this movie, but it was an enjoyable movie. I did enjoy it from beginning, and so great pick there for once, Mitch. Thank you.
You are welcome. I've had to say that to you many, many times throughout many, many years, but you are welcome once again. Now, listen, I picked this movie, as I said, and I have a bias. Why? Because I don't waste my time. Well, sort of. Go back and watch our MCU review, okay? But I don't waste my time typically unless Chris asks for a favor. Chris asks for a favor and asks me to be on a podcast where I don't get paid. But listen, check this out. I love doing this show. Why? Because I sometimes get to pick good movies like this, and it was great. You got lines, shoot them for me, bitch. You foxy bitch. And here's my last one, okay? I didn't use the F word, Chris, so slow down, okay? Gina Davis goes, what happened? She had passed out. He goes, I saved your ass. It was great. I love that because it's the complete opposite of what happened. But he's like, I'm going to take credit for it nonetheless. The movie was hilarity. It was action. It was 90s schlock, which is what it was supposed to be. The same way we have 80s schlock. I don't know if the 2000s had that. I'd have to really, really sit down and think about it. That might be a great question. But they don't make them like this anymore. I don't know if we still have that soft meter. Yeah, we do. But nowadays, it's too soft to make. As Chris once said about Return of the Jedi, Vader, what happened to you? I say movies would happen to you. As far as this one, I'll do it myself, Chris, because I know you're busy with other things. It gets a thumbs up. We thank you for being here. We thank Chris for his hate. It makes me strong. And Rashad, we thank you for being here and actually watching this movie and giving it a fair shot, which you always do, sir. For me, for Chris, for Rashad, for those people on Thursday, if you still watch that program of Block. Mike, you need to come over. I know you want to come over. Leave that sinking ship. Do something right. Anyway, good night, folks.